Go ahead.
Yeah, super excited to be hosting another regional. It's not easy. It's like I told the team, there's 250, 60 teams that aren't playing anymore. And it's hard to get in. There's a lot of really good teams that were on the bubble this year. And, it's a long grind the whole season. And, for the most part, we've maneuvered it pretty well. But we're really excited for postseason, and we're even more happy that we get to stay here and play in front of our fans who have been incredible for us this year.
All right, Bob, get it going.
Hey, Dave. Well, how do you feel about the 5 seed? I think that was what a lot of the websites projected. Yeah, how do you feel about that? And then maybe just when you look at the field, I know you just found out who's coming here, but when you look at the field overall, your thoughts on your regional field, I mean.
Yeah, as far as what the website's saying, all that on seeds, it doesn't matter to me. Just it's great being a top 8. Doesn't matter 1 or 8 to me, anywhere in between. So excited about that. And our regional is a true regional with Louisiana Tech, about 4 or 5 hours away, and SEMO at probably 5 hours away, something like that. And I just feel like that in K-State, same thing, probably 5.5 maybe. Should be really good crowds. I would think the other teams would be able to bring a lot of fans. You just think that anyway. But I don't know. You never know what's going to happen this time of year. Who's hot? Who's not? Who's hurt? Who's not? Who's sick? Who's not? Been on both sides of it. So just excited to be back playing here.
And then two of these teams coming here are led by your former assistants. What do you think about that, first of all? And then if you look at the whole field, the top 8 seeds are 2 more of your assistants, and then you got Nebraska, and I may be missing some, but just what are your thoughts about having 2 of your former guys here, and then how well all your guys are doing around the country?
Yeah, Lane and Andy, both really good people. Not only outstanding coaches, but good human beings, good dads. It's been fun watching those guys' careers grow. Played against them a few times. Just happy that they're having success. Not excited about having to play them, but just happy for them and their families and their baseball programs.
And then Tony being top seed, Wes 8 seed, Will's Nebraska won the I started to say the Big 12, the Big 10 tournament. Just what do you think about you have a big cast of guys in the tournament?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've been very blessed to have such great coaches, and they've gone off and done their thing and had a lot of success, and doesn't surprise me a bit. So happy for all those guys. That's what you want when you coach with guys. And, if you're the head coach and they're your assistants, you want them to do well when they leave and have a great career, and, just makes things a little bit better down the road.
Thanks. I might have a few more, but I'll turn it back to Oliver. Thank you.
Hutch.
Yeah, Dave, I know you probably haven't dove into the scouting reports too deeply, but Louisiana Tech, has Ethan Bates, one of your former players, and been a two-way guy for them. Just has it surprised you at all, kind of the success he's had down there at Louisiana Tech, and what's it like having a former player like that come back?
Yeah, Ethan, what a great kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's a full-grown man, and came in here and, struggled a little bit, but we could see it in him. He really wanted to play, and he ended up going to Navarro Junior College after his 3rd semester here, and, did well there, and they started pitching him a little bit. We had talked to him about pitching. That wasn't his first love, honestly, and that's the way it is with a lot of kids. I mean, we tried to get Blake Parker to pitch too, and he didn't want to. He ended up being a big league all-star as a pitcher. So, it's just, we knew Ethan had a great arm and had power from the left side as a hitter. And when he got to Tech, it's all come out, as an older player and confident. He's been lights out, maybe is definitely one of the best two-way players in the country.
And I know it's still a few days out, but have you given any thought to what your pitching rotation might look like, and what's that process going to look like when you go about trying to figure out who to start, what games, and who to bring out of the bullpen and who to start?
Yeah, see who's feeling really good, actually, and obviously look at the team we play and their lineup and how they do against rights or lefts, if you have that option. If we had a set rotation, because it's been a little bit jumbled the last few weeks, it might make it a little easier. So we'll just look at all those things. And, right now we're just kind of diving into scouting reports and try to watch some video and just make a good decision. And our goal is, we got to win at least 3 in this thing to win it. So it's going to take all of them.
And Dudley.
Obviously, great record at home this season. For several years, really. What when you're playing in a regional at home, what are the advantages and maybe what are some of the disadvantages of playing at home, if there are any?
Yeah, no, there's definitely both. The advantages is that you, get to stay in your own bed, sleep in your own bed, and your own surroundings that you're used to, and playing in front of your own fans that can help you out when they get loud and maybe help you flip an inning here or there. Just knowing you're surfaced and the sun and the wind and all of those things. Sometimes the disadvantage about playing at home is there's a lot of distractions, people wanting tickets, you getting texts, calls, media. I mean, there's a lot of things that can distract you when you're at home.
And also, when you're trying to decide whether to play that afternoon game, the first one, or the night game, what kind of goes into that type of decision?
Well, really experience with both, having to deal with the weather. If you're, the second game and the first game gets played, and the second game gets delayed or rained out, then having to play super early in the morning and, for sure going to play 2 the next day, somehow, some way, if possible. Just talking to other coaches in the past about the way they do it. It used to be they would tell me, yeah, they made us play at night and until there was an issue with the weather, and then they figured out it might be better to play early. Yeah, it cuts into our crowd or makes it harder for the fans to get here for a 1 o'clock game or 2, whatever you're scheduled that day, because that's usually what they are. And we understand that. But as far as for the team, just getting up, going through routine and playing. And if there is weather, you have more time to fight it throughout the day.
Thanks.
Tom.
Dave, I think you've used 50 something different batting orders this year. What's that been like? It has to be years where it's almost set day to day, and this hasn't been one of those years.
Yeah, it's been a little different this year. There's some of it has to do with injuries or guys not having the year that they thought they would because of injuries, and we're still playing them, and they're trying to fight through it. And really, it's all about getting to this point. It's finding a way to get to a regional, and hopefully we're fairly healthy now, maybe as healthy as we've been all year, honestly, at least on the offensive end. And right now I've got a lineup or 2 that, one that we'll go with against left-hander and one we'll go with against a right-hander. And if we played in 2 hours, I would be able to write you one up right now. And, hopefully they'll go good and we'll be able to stick with it.
Yeah, your team didn't really show much of a reaction. The camera was in the locker room for the show. You're hosting for 6 out of the last 7 times. I mean, is it maybe, I don't know, what do you say to speak to that consistency that you're hosting and you're top 8 seed so frequently?
Yeah, just a few things are involved there. Obviously, we have good players that, they care about winning and they take care of business, and they find a way to show up every day mentally, even if they're not feeling great or whatever. They're humans. It's just the way it is. I think the coaches do a great job of preparing their guys mentally to play. I think it's a little bit of our culture that's gone on for years, as far as, the way we do things here, what's expected, and it all adds up. Because you look around, there's a handful of teams that have done it, but it's hard to do, and it's hard to be consistent, especially these days with kids being able to jump around and coaches jumping around. And we've done a good job of keeping our staff together, and I think the players, they can see that the coaches all like each other and that we get along, we hang out a little bit away from the ballpark, and it just all adds up. The kids maybe are a little bit more comfortable early, and I think it's helped us over the years.
11 SEC teams are in the field. I think all of the 13 and 17 teams got in the field. Maybe what do you think of the SEC dominance, I guess, or the toughness of getting through that schedule this year?
Yeah, again, with the way that you can move around as a player, it's made our team stronger from top to bottom. Even if some teams didn't win this year, I look at some of the transfers and older kids that are playing premier positions, shortstop, catchers, center fielders, starting pitching, big time relievers from other programs that are filling in, and teams are staying old. Teams are, if you look at their ages, they're experienced. And so it makes every weekend, almost the same. Somebody might have a superstar starter or whatever, but as far as top to bottom lineup and roster, the teams are just very talented and they're older. So if you get through this league, you're definitely battle tested. You go out and you play in a regional, you got a really good shot to get to the final day, so to speak, the championship game, whether you got to win a couple or one. Just because you've played such good competition, you're not going to be kind of shocked or anything by how good somebody is, I don't feel like, because you've probably already seen it. And that's just the way the SEC is now. We kind of kid around, it's big boy baseball. And if you're a freshman, you need to come in and you need to be strong, and you need to be able to handle the mental part of it, of the, ups and downs. Cause some days you're feeling pretty good, and some days you're walking away thinking, am I any good? And cause you're facing guys that are older. And if you can play as a freshman in this league, you're going to be pretty darn good when you're a second, third year player.
Yeah, Lewis.
Yeah, Coach, the last time you guys went 0-2 in Hoover, it went pretty well for you in the NCAA tournament. Are there any similarities between how these last few days have felt and maybe how you felt in 2022, or just what you've seen from the team or the players or coaches?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't remember 2022 as far as how we did over there, but I've been reminded that we went 0-2, and I couldn't tell you the scores or who pitched, because pretty much when I left there, I was moving on to the regional and get back and get our team ready to go, because we felt like we had a talented team that, let it go in 21. In 21, Slavens almost broke his ankle there and was never the same. We had a couple other little injuries that never really got out, that kind of happened on that road trip, because, we finish on the road and then we just go there and we're gone for 8-9 days. And, when you play all the way to the championship, like in 21, I mean, we were on the road for like 10, 11 days and, squeaked through our regional and lost super regional North Carolina State, who was really good. But, just the tournament, it doesn't make you worse. Let's just say that, you lose 2 games, you get beat by a run, get beat by a couple of runs, had a chance to win, had one big hit away here or there. We didn't play terrible. We didn't play great. We just played good teams, and it was a neutral site. So it was frustrating losing, because we lost 4 out of 5 games on the road trip, and we're not used to losing, and it doesn't sit well with us, obviously, but the players didn't like losing either. It's not like, they're like, oh, well, we lost, whatever. They're like the coaches, they take it personal, and we're looking forward to getting back. And I don't think the way we played there is going to make us play worse in the regional. I think if anything, we should play a little better, a little more motivated, a little more rested going into this thing. And if we play good, great. Hopefully we'll win. If we don't, it's probably because the other teams are really good.
Theo.
Hi, Theo with MLB.com. I'm writing about Hagen Smith. What's he been like to recruit and coach for the past 3 years? And what's it like knowing you can hand him the ball this weekend for your regional?
Well, it's been amazing having him here. From the first time I saw him throw a bullpen in late August before school started, or right about time school started, I was kind of like, wow, how's this kid here? Why didn't somebody sign him? And thank goodness they didn't. And I was looking at a 17-year-old at the time because he hadn't even turned 18 yet. He'd already had Tommy John surgery, missed a year of high school ball. So the chance of him hurting that arm again is a lot less. And, you know, you could kind of picture building a pitching staff around him a little bit. It's been amazing having him here. It's been just because of the person he is, honestly. He's very talented. That anybody can see that. But as far as, you know, the things that people don't know about Hagan is what a great teammate he is. And he doesn't talk about himself. He doesn't say a whole lot unless he has something to say. And, you know, the players love him. The coaches love him. And some big league team's going to get him a guy that they're going to love. And he's going to help them right away.
You described Hagan as one of the hardest workers you've been around. What is it about him that makes you see him that way?
Well, just the fact that we never have to tell him anything. I mean, he knows his routine and he does it. I saw him come back after this summer. He pitched a little bit with Team USA out of the bullpen after pitching a lot of innings as a sophomore. So we just wanted to keep him down. All the, you know, the Cape Cod teams wanted him to come pitch, and he just wanted to come back here and work. He wanted to get back to our facilities. He didn't go home, came right back here. And, you know, this is a guy that doesn't lay in the bed till 12 and then come in at 1 o'clock. I mean, he's getting there when we are, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, and it's summer, and he gets his work in. And, you know, we just kept saying, you know, maybe not necessarily him, but to each other, that he goes about his business like a big leaguer. You know, this isn't some kid, you know, this is a very mature thinking person with a lot of talent. And, you know, he was on a mission this year, and he's on a mission to have a great career. So that's why I see him as a super hard worker, and it hadn't stopped.
Daniel.
Coach, they broke the home run record in Hoover this year, and there's been an uptick in kind of just power across the conference. What do you think that's a product of?
Well, as far as Hoover, the wind blew out every day. The right field, dead left, light winds, some pretty good winds. And then, you know, you got some guys throwing high velocity, but you got some really powerful older hitters. The ball was jumping. You know, other than that, I don't really know what to tell you. I think that it's probably because you look up and down all the leagues, the teams are older. I mean, I look at Southeast Missouri State. I just went through their stuff, and they got a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors. And so those kids are older, more mature, they're stronger. I mean, they got right at 100 home runs and over 100 doubles. They got 4 guys with, you know, 12, 13, 16 home runs in there. It's pretty impressive. So I just think it's just, you got big, strong guys. Everybody, the kids we're recruiting, they're coming to college, and the guys that get here, they're stronger and more prepared to play than ever. And then you get them in the program, and all of a sudden, bang, it's the sophomore, junior year. And they are, you know, they look like they're AA players.
And then you go from the entire year kind of, you know, playing SEC series and playing teams within your league for the past couple months, and then you have to, you know, scout 3 teams kind of at once. How did the players and coaches kind of adjust to that?
Well, it's just what we do. You know, we've kept up with some of these teams and their success. Now, we haven't sat and dissected their rosters and the way they pitch you. And there's a lot of things we can look at technology-wise. We can try to get some info from other teams, and that's what we'll do. But as far as, you know, the 2 teams that we don't play the first day, you know, we should have an opportunity to watch them play some. That will help. And we'll do the best we can.
Thanks, Coach.
Come back around, Bob, and then Hutch.
Yeah, Dave, you know, you mentioned a record 11 SEC teams in the field, but the 2 teams coming in next year, OU and Texas, are in the field too. So that's 13 teams that'll be in the SEC next year in the NCAA tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, you know, and next year's next year, but I'll just give you a quick observation. I think that you're probably going to see at least 12 teams from the SEC getting into the NCAA tournament, maybe 13. But, you had two regional type teams to our league, two teams that have, in their history have won a national championship. It just brings more teams that are probably going to belong in the field.
And then, last weekend, I know you obviously don't like going on to at Hoover, but it didn't really impact your seating or anything. But did you do anything last weekend to relax or recharge? Or I'm curious what you did and you think was good for the players?
I mean, the weekend we just had?
Yeah, just this, like yesterday and Saturday. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the players did. We gave them 2 full days off, Friday, Saturday. Sunday we basically had an optional lift and hit, which didn't take much, wearing shorts and t-shirts. So kind of a day off, and they all liked to lift, and they were short lifts. And then again today, kind of the same type workout going on right now. Still resting up a little bit, trying to get some energy, get some strength, and obviously, get everything mind right. Just be ready to play. As far as the coaches, we were up here a little bit off and on, 3 or 4 hours a day, relaxing. I mean, all the coaches have kids. Bobby's got a brand new baby and a young daughter, and Coach Thompson has 3 daughters. So they, I told them to hang out with them and do whatever. And, Coach Hobbs, same way, 2 girls and a boy. They play sports, running back and forth, watching them. And, myself, I went up to the hospital, and babies are still in the NICU. My daughter's triplets. So hung out up there with my wife, got to hold the babies a little bit, and obviously get caught up on a few other things, and mentally get recharged a little bit, because that, the season, it's tough on you. A lot of people don't realize the grind that the kids go through at this level, the coaches go through. We don't play once a week. We don't play 2 or 3 times a week. We travel all over the place, and we're playing 4 and 5 games, and pre-game. There's a lot going on, a lot of hotels, and you have to learn how to mentally handle this grind, because if you don't, you'll burn yourself out.
And then you didn't say if you're going to pick the early game, but I know you've done that in the past, and that's obviously, probably the smart call. Have you decided if you guys are playing the early game Friday?
Did I get asked that question? I thought
I think you got asked what goes into the thinking, but you didn't say if you're picking the afternoon game.
Nobody asked me if I was big. Yeah, we're playing the first game.
Okay. See, that's why I asked you. So we get that. And that's a great decision.
All right, Hutch, close it out.
I just got a quick one, Coach. I know you'll watch the TV broadcast, but during the last game, the SEC network commentators made a big deal about Hagen's velo being lower than it usually is. Is that something you noticed, or was that kind of an overblown thing by them?
So they're wrong. They were watching the scoreboard, which was at least 4 miles an hour slow, and sometimes 5. So they, we're seeing it on TV, or, if you're watching a game like recently and you're seeing 93, 94, they're seeing 98 or 90, 89, 90. So they're sitting there in their booth looking at that scoreboard. They were wrong. Hagen's velocity was still way up there, as was what you were watching on TV. You weren't watching that goofy scoreboard out there that was really messed up, easily 4 miles an hour slow. Because I said something about it in game 1 to one of the coaches, and Coach Hobbs said, yeah, that thing's 4 to 5 miles an hour slow. All the scouts are getting the correct time on their radar guns. And, that's kind of disappointing that these guys would say that to a national audience with not having the facts. He's fine.
Appreciate it. Gotta love the scoreboard radar gun.
Oh, yeah.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll see you later this
Okay.
week.
See you.